Fireball, UFOs, and Star People. Get in here. We're going to be discussing episode 4 of UFO Witness, a show I had never seen before. This is going to be really interesting. This is Cosmic Road, where I discuss UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, and if you do, please hit the bell next to it to be notified of future videos. And as I'm going through it, please comment below and let me know what you think. I had never seen this series before, but with Skinwalker Ranch Season 3 drawing to a close, I wanted something else to watch. And I'd heard good things about UFO Witness, so I thought I would check it out, check out the latest episode. I haven't watched the previous seasons, so, you know, the previous season. This is Season 2, Episode 4 that I'm going to be reviewing. And so, you know, let's just dive in. There are these two UFO researchers, and I guess they travel around and they, investigate various UFO mysteries. And today, in this episode, they are investigating something called fireball UFOs, which apparently are common in an area of Idaho. So they go to this small town, Sandpoint, I think is the name of the town, on a lake, a very cold looking lake, lots of snow, lots of ice. And I think in northern Idaho, correct me if I'm wrong on that. And they are investigating this phenomenon of fireball UFOs. They kind of look like meteors coming, or, asteroids or whatever, coming to Earth. But they are intelligently guided and are not meteors or asteroids. They are UFOs of some sort. So they are talking to the locals and trying to figure out what these are. Then there's also the star people that these researchers are investigating. Now, they seem to use that as a blanket term for extraterrestrials, or maybe like a specific sort of extraterrestrial. Now, it is my understanding that star people is a Native American term, and it is their term, their blanket term for extraterrestrials. So if the show is trying to say that the star people are a certain kind of E.T., and that that's like a normal, terminology, I have a bone to pick there. But let's proceed. So they meet with this old lady, Dale Snipes, who apparently is an experiencer. She's seen UFOs all her life. It looks like she's been abducted. And one day she saw one of these fireball UFOs go into the lake. Now, this was shown in a dramatic reenactment. I'm not a big fan of those in this type of show. It just seems kind of cheesy and fake. But, whatever. A lot of shows do it. And I guess it's more entertaining than just having somebody relate their story. Although, honestly, I think I would just rather listen to somebody relate their story. But that's not the format they're using. So, anyway, so she sees a fireball UFO go into this lake. This lake is interesting because it is 1,000 feet deep. And there's actually a Navy base on this lake. They train and develop submarines. They test submarines out on this lake. It is deep enough to test submarines on, which is interesting. And also you have to wonder about the connection between the military and the UFOs. So anyway, it goes through some more of her stories. At one point, she was abducted, and she has a conscious memory of it, or at least part of it. She was in bed with her husband, and this is another dramatic reenactment. And what appear to be gray aliens, although later they say the star people are white and not gray, but they look very similar to gray aliens. They were physically dragging her out of bed, and she was resisting. And she was actually digging her fingernails into her husband's arm and drawing blood, trying to get him to wake up to help her. But they had put him into a trance, which is common, and he was not waking up. So, and then they abducted her and they showed her the lake. That was all she could remember. Surely there's more to it than that. So it'd be interesting if she ever had hypnoregression to recover that memory. But for some reason, the aliens were showing her the lake. She did not know what that meant. Could there be a base down there? Is the lake important in some way? Aliens are often very environmentally focused, so you have to wonder about nuclear submarines in the lake. Maybe they're trying to say there's some contamination there, or they're trying to reveal something that the military is doing. Maybe they're working with the military. Who knows? That's just speculation. At one point, the show is talking about the lake, and they show a crack in the ice in the lake. And they build that up to be something mysterious. Oh, that could be this secret gateway to the whatever. I don't think aliens need to do that. They're transmedium. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. They're not going to be bothered by a little ice. So the show does a number of things like that try to artificially build tension and mystery that seems a little cheesy to me. But nevertheless, this interview with this lady, Dale, is very interesting, and she does seem to be a genuine experiencer, and there does seem to be some genuine activity in this area of Idaho. And it's interesting because, as is very typical among experiencers, it's a generational thing. If you are an abductee, it's likely one of your parents will have been an abductee, and your children are likely to be abductees as well, because the aliens are tweaking genes or something over the course of generations to produce some effect. What that effect is, we still don't know. But there are many theories and ideas, and people do have things that they believe are what the aliens are doing, and I'll save that for another video. It's very interesting, but so they want to talk to the daughter of Dale, and that's Carolyn. So they go to Carolyn's house to hear her experiences, because of course she is an experiencer as well. And she tells a very interesting story. Again, it's a dramatic reenactment. The actress playing her in the reenactment is, I believe, a teenager. So this happened, years ago in her youth, if that is an accurate, portrayal. They don't ever say that it happened in her youth, but, surely they wouldn't get a teenager to play her when she's now a middle-aged lady, if it weren't the case. But anyway. Small detail. So she sees a fireball UFO, and she goes to pursue it, to chase it, to find out what the hell it is. And she's in her car pursuing the UFO, trying to figure out where it went. And she comes upon the military. The military, there's like a roadblock or something. That's how it's presented in the reenactment. There's a bunch of military guys in camo in their vehicles, and they've got guns, and they tell her to get lost. Go away, they've got this covered. So she took that to mean they were chasing the fireball UFO as well, and that very well could be the case, or they could be responsible for the fireball UFO. It could be some sort of military testing they're doing. They're developing their own alien technology, reverse engineering alien technology and developing these ships. Possible. Or alternately, they could be working with one of the aliens, just like the Area 51 guys, and developing their own ships and doing their own thing. Or maybe this is the aliens flying in for a visit with the military guys. Who knows? I don't know if the Navy is working with the beings. The Air Force definitely seems to be working with the beings, or at least, a group of the Air Force, the breakaway group. So could the Navy be working with the beings as well? Why not? But, I don't have a whole lot of evidence for that yet. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to research that. Interestingly, Carolyn's neighbors are also seeing UFOs, and they also have their own stories. There are some petroglyphs, some Indian Native American petroglyphs in the area that they go and visit, and they have been told, or they believe, that these petroglyphs represent the Indians talking about a landing site, for the star people. They go to the county historical they go to the county historical society and do some research there, and they are actually shown a map of UFO sightings in the area. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm sure that was set up beforehand and that they knew about the existence of the map, and that's why they went to the historical society, but it's still cool. They talk to a researcher who says she is of Native American descent, and they talk about how these visitors, these star people, have been seen in the area forever. And she describes them as these small white beings. And she says they seem to be hostile. And somebody else earlier in the episode says they seem to be hostile. But that does seem to be kind of the nature of the show, building up this tension and presenting the phenomenon in a scary way, which I don't really grok, honestly. Anyway, she says these fellows, these star people, have been around forever doing nefarious things, and that they are from some sort of race that's a dying race, and they need the Earth's resources. They need water. She says they want water. So, that's interesting. It doesn't really make any sense, but it's interesting. And she also says they are creating hybrids, and which, is yes, they're abducting people because they're creating hybrids. Seems to be a fundamental reason why they are abducting people. They are also tweaking genes over the course of generations. Is that to produce better hybrids for the future? Is that to produce a better strain of humanity? Who knows? Again, there's all sorts of theories. But they do seem to be part and parcel with each other. And if these star people are these white beings, if they are actually different from the other abducting races, that would be, there's different grades, and they all seem to be abducting races. There is one group that is called the abductors by the other groups, because the story is that the other groups have a deal with humanity to abduct people and take people, and the abductors, they don't have a deal. They're abducting people without an agreement. It all sounds like abduction to me, but, whatever. And that's just one story from one fairly credible experiencer. So who knows? But this researcher lady says that on the reservation, they see orbs every night. Now, it is a fact, apparently, from my research, that Native Americans, there are certain ethnic groups that have a higher than average rate of abduction. Native Americans are among them. Also the Irish. So that's fascinating. Also, the aliens seem to love Germans. So, and there's the whole RH negative thing. It doesn't surprise me that the Native Americans are seeing a lot of activity. We learned of some other interesting UFO sightings. Again, these are the fireball UFO kind, which is what this episode is focusing on. We learn of a plane that saw a UFO, a fireball UFO, and some other various stories. They go back to Carolyn's house and do some soil samples. I don't think they ever actually reveal the results of the soil samples. If they did, I missed it. And please let me know in the comments below if you did catch that information. But it's interesting that there are dead animals turning up in her area, and that the animals in her area are starting to have tumors where they didn't have tumors before. That again makes me think about the ecological motivation that the aliens often have, and that they often are drilling into people they abduct, even brainwashing them to be more ecologically sensitive, which is a common thing that they do. That's just a fact at this point. Across the board, they are conditioning people to be more ecologically sensitive. people that are abducted very often afterwards become very environmental. And, I guess that's a good thing. And that's very interesting that the aliens are doing that. Um, Tell us more, guys. What's the deal? Just, put it out there. Why don't beat around the bush? I'm tired of learning about this stuff from regressed abductees. If the aliens want people to know this stuff, just come out and tell us. Okay, so the show ends, and it ends talking about how the aliens are doing this nefarious stuff, and it could be the brink of alien-human war. That's actually how the episode ends. The show is so cheesy. It really tries to build up this tension. It tries to make it scary. And for sure, if you're being dragged out of your bed in the middle of the night, leaving claw marks on your husband out of fear, it is scary. There is absolutely a scary component to this. However, the show really wants to amp that up and make this more of a horror-themed TV show, and that kind of rubs me the wrong way. I mean, it actually really does rub me the wrong way. So, anyway, it does seem very cheesy. Got reenactments trying to build up this tension. I think I will continue with the series because there's some interesting stuff in it. I had never heard about the fireball UFO phenomenon, so I thought that was interesting. This lake that's 1,000 feet deep that has a Navy base on it, and they have all this crazy UFO activity there going back generations. That's really interesting, and I did not know that. So, for that alone, I think there's some interesting information to be had on this show, and I do plan to continue watching it. What do you think? Have you seen the episode? What did you think? As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Comment below, let me know what you think about this video and also the episode in general. Are you checking out this TV series, UFO Witness? Are you enjoying it? What do you think about it? What do you think about fireball UFOs? First time I had ever heard about them. Have you heard about these things before? What are your experiences? Oh, and please go down into the information below, and if you would, subscribe to the Facebook channel and my Twitter feed. If you want to, contribute to the channel and support the channel, there's a PayPal link below. That would be awesome. Otherwise, please just hit like and subscribe and comment below. Yeah, and if you do hit subscribe, please hit the bell next to it to be notified of future videos. Until next time, Cosmic Road out.